Alright, so we're going to start off looking at some complex numbers. It's been a while. Alright, so first thing, what is this? Square root of 25. Yeah, it's 5.
Come on, you guys know this stuff. What about understanding why? Well, because 5 times 5 gives you 25. That's the concept here. Same thing when you're working with the square root of a negative. Square root of 25 is still 5, but we got to understand that there's the factor of a negative 1, and we represent that by definition as the imaginary number. The square root of negative 1 is the imaginary number. So instead of 5, we've got 5i as the square root of negative 25.
Yep, so the first thing we do, we just split it up. So you got the square root of the negative 1 and the square root of whatever's left over, because negative 1 times 25 is your negative 25. So that's going to give you that part, and then you just go from there. Make the square root of negative 1i. That's the first thing we got to do. Break it down that way.
Always take out that I first.
There you go. You can read that. Go for it.
Read. So here's an example of simplifying a radical with an imaginary number. So just like we did before on that last example, we factored out that negative 1. And then 50 we broke down into 25 times 2.
Yep, so the only thing different about this is the negative part underneath the radical. That's the only thing different. So all we got to do is take the negative 1 out, square root of negative 1. And then everything's the same. So square root of negative 1 is I, square root of 25 is 5, and square root of 2, can't do anything with it, you leave it there.
Okay, if you're not sure, ask some questions. Next example. Square root of negative 81 x squared y cubed, and again we're going to break it down the same way. So we'll pull out this negative 1 and then everything else is the same.
Yep.
Okay, so we got the square root of 81, which is our 9. We've got the square root of x squared, which is our x. And then we've got the square root of negative 1 is our I. And then this last part here, the square root of y cubed, you get a y out with 1 remainder here. One thing to note is all the real portion of this coefficient comes first, and then the I is here. We disregard alphabetical order when we're talking about the imaginary numbers. Last example?
Yep, we got to make sure we take out the I first. We can't just multiply negative 6 and negative 3. We got to take out the I first. So square root of negative 1 and 6, square root of negative 1 and 3. Then we can multiply the 6 and the 3, and the I times I is I squared. 6 and 3 is 18. Break down 18 to 9 and 2, which will give you square root of 9 is 3. I squared will give you a negative 1, okay? Because we're going to take that negative square root, or square root of negative 1 times the square root of negative 1 will give you the square root of positive 1, which is, wait, no, never mind.
We'll talk more about this in class tomorrow. So if you're really kind of unsure of how we got from I squared to here, we're going to address that in class too. So don't worry about that too much. Just understand the process is the same, and get the i's out first before multiplying together. Okay? So here's how we always are going to write our complex numbers. We always have the real part first, just like on that last slide, followed by the imaginary part. So we'll show you how to add and subtract any of these things here.
Alright, so you're just going to take the 5 and the negative 4, add them up, will give you 1. The negative 6i and the positive 3i will give you negative 3i.
And that's it.
That's it. Just think about it as an x. Alright, you can do the same thing. Alright,
cool.
Next one, same thing.
Careful with subtracting a negative here, but that's really the only thing to worry about. 5 minus a negative 2, you're going to get 7. And then negative 3i minus 4i would give you the negative 7i, and that's
it.
Easy
and we got the real number part first and the imaginary second.
Yep, it's always that a plus bi. Multiplying is very similar. You're going to distribute or double distribute if necessary. Here we're distributing the 6i, so you get your 12i. 6 times 5 is 30. I times I is I squared. And then again, we get our negative 1 from that, and we'll talk more about that in class. But your real part comes first, followed by the last part. That's about it for this lesson. So you can jot down this one, do a practice, and then in the second one we will check it out.